Okay, hello everyone. I hope you enjoyed the beautiful weather that we had today. I know I did. I hope spring is on time this year. Because I was saying earlier this week, I hope spring come early. And I was like, wait a minute, it's not early. It's just number one time. So hopefully March is, we actually get a spring this year. Hello, I'm Shannon Thomas. I'm the president, as you know. We're here today to discuss some great things happening in Ward 7 that I'm excited about. And we have some guest speakers that are eager to share, and we even have a presentation lined up for you all. Last night we had the crime summit in Ward 7. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend, but I did get some feedback about it. They really emphasized that they need Ward 7 to be engaged, involved, actually cooperate with the police department. There was a situation where we had two individuals that had crime happen around or surrounding their resident, and they actually participated in the camera program and refused to allow the police department to utilize that footage. Again, refused to allow the police department to utilize that footage. And at that point, we're doing ourselves a disservice, especially if you decide to sign up and enroll. And I thought when you enroll, correct me if I'm wrong, that you sign a clause saying that you allow the police department to access that video. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so, we can't complain about the crime or things that are happening in our community if we're not going to cooperate and support our police department. So, overall, that was the emphasis that I heard that was occurring. Oh, okay. Jimmy, do you want to come up and kind of just briefly elaborate?
Sure.
Thank you.
Let me tuck my shirt in. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. So real quickly, last night there was the Ward 7 crime summit. The chief attended, but not only did the chief, he had people from DC government agencies. So it hit on a couple of things. One of it was just to focus on all the deficiencies. How can we work better as a community? How can we improve relationships with the police? How can we improve relationships on different parts of the ward participation? But especially moving was a young guy who was 15 years old who was there, who did not understand new generation because they had mentioned that there was not enough youth in there. And he came and said, I came. They pulled him across the street from Simple City, which used to be a very rough area. And he said, I didn't understand. He had problems expressing himself, but his biggest concern was his uncle had been killed less than a week ago, and his uncle was young. And he was trying to make grasp of what the killings meant. And I think that was really touching. So there was outreach for the youth. And so one of the things DC government said is that we're looking at ways to work with community associations, Madam President, and really ways of increasing outreach. Secondly, the chief was admitting that with the crimes that it was an issue. People always want to take the chief to task, but a lot of people put it back on the community to do your part. Shannon just mentioned about the camera activities. What can we do to work together with the police if they're not our enemies? What can we do to work together with our churches and with our communities and with our associations? So what I say, the one takeaway from this meeting was really throwing it back on the community to say that this is just not all about what the police do. This is what you can do as a community, and that if we're not working together along with the police, this is not going to happen. So thanks a lot, Madam President, for letting me do. I know it's Shannon. Thank you.
Thank you, Jimmy. I appreciate that. Yeah, so, I think we have to do our part and be very supportive, and again, remember utilizing 311 and 911 and whenever it's imperative for you to do so. So moving forward on a celebrating moment for me. I don't know about you guys, but I love this place and I love going there for brunch. But the Bus Boys and Poet is finally here, and the grand opening was today. today and the ribbon cutting. Oh, you went? Did you go?
No, but I received the text. I'll be there Sunday.
Oh, okay. So I like their old-fashioned grits. That's just me. But they open today at 12 p.m. Please, 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 please support this business. We finally have a nice restaurant, and I was watching Fox 5 this morning. I was telling Joan earlier, and the artwork that is in this establishment just was.
The address.
Oh, the address.
Yeah.
That, well, you guys know it's 2004 Martin Luther King Avenue. So please go, please check it out. It's a beautiful Frederick Douglass painting in there, Marion Barry on the wall. They have artwork from a local Southeast elementary school where some of the kids made artwork, and it's really good. I didn't feel like kids did it at all. And even the owner, he was like, there is not a shortage of artists in Ward 7 at all. And he was really impressed by the overflow of artwork that was given to him to be put in the establishment. And also, if you all have never been a Busboys and Poet, I love the book section. And the kid book section is very, very, very nice. So I definitely will be heading over there and purchasing and buying a few books for my son. So definitely check out their brunch, check out their dinner, check out their lunch, whatever speaks to you. Have maybe a birthday gathering there. Utilize their personal space that you can have for special events. But support this business, because we complain all the time how it's a food desert. We don't have certain establishments on this side of the bridge, and it's finally here. So support the business so they will stay. Okay, so moving forward, I will allow Cal to come up and go over the minutes from last meeting. Thank you.
Evening, everybody. How you doing? All right. So I will summarize the meeting from last week, or excuse me, last month. We had guest speakers from the mayor's office, the Ward 7 Community Outreach Specialist. We also had our ANC chair, D.L. Humphrey, who spoke about crime ahead of the Crime Summit. We had one of our local commissioners, Nicole Smith McDermott, who also spoke about the work that was being done that Ms. Paul will probably talk some more about with respect to the O Street retaining wall and some permit applications for curb cuts in that area. We had Mr. John Cotton, who spoke about the Fort DuPont Ice Arena. He's a youth and community advocate there and encouraged all of us to support that ice arena and mentioned many of the community programs that they're running. We also had Ms. Brittany Lacey, who's the children's librarian at our local Francis Gregory Library. She talked about both children, adult, and senior programs that the library is running. And then, of course, we got our crime report from Lieutenant Jessica Hawkins and Officer Marable. And we had our Treasury report to conclude our January ending balance of $2,342.13. After new donations in the last couple of meetings, we were at a closing balance of $2,382.13. Any questions about the minutes from our last month's meeting?
I move that we accept the minutes as read.
Second.
Second. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kyle. Now I will let Officer Jameson come up and do our crime report. We missed you last month.
I know. Trust me, believe. And I wasn't even invited to the crime summit, believe it or not.
Oh.
The decision makers were there anyway, so I'm sure they gave us good props. Good evening, everybody. You know, crime is never good, but when it's down, that's a good thing. Let me put it that way. So, crime is down to 605. We had, I'll show you the crime decreases. Violent crime was down by 40%. Property crime was down by 32% for an overall crime decrease of 34%. The biggest decrease we had was theft from autos, somebody breaking into your car and stealing stuff. The previous 30 days, it was 22 of them. In the last 30 days, it was only 4. You know, we had a triple homicide up in Fort Davis a few weeks back, and we put a whole bunch of resources in that. That crime is still open, by the way. And then right shortly after that, we had the 5 people shot down here at Lockrock Square in Pennsylvania Avenue. And that case was closed. That was a road rage incident.
Yeah, road rage.
Yeah, and I actually also had a picture of the guy before this the incident happened. So it's pretty easy to close that case. But we're still looking for leads in the triple homicide up there at Fort Davis, which is way, way, way out of character for that area up there. Those guys didn't live in that area. We're trying to still figure out what the connection was to that area. They wasn't the pillars of society, let me put it that way. And there's some other things involved that I can't discuss that probably would lead you to believe what happened was no surprise. I'll put it that way. Okay. Let me go through the crime stats in the specific streets. There were 3 AEWs, one in the 29th block of Nash, one in the 43rd block of 7th Avenue, and one in the 16th block of Fort Davis. There were 3 robberies, one was in the 42nd block of 7th, 600 block of Chapman, and the 18th block of 41st Street. There were only 2 burglaries, 3300 block of Minnesota Avenue, and the 400 block of 42nd Street. There were 7 stolen autos, one in the 3200 block of Penn, 3600 block of Alabama, 3800 block of Nash Place, 1500 block of 42nd Street, 3200 block of Oak Street, 3900 block of Penn, and 1600 block of Fort Davis. Like I said earlier, it was 4 scope theft from autos. They were in the 1300 block of 34th, 3200 block of O Street, 1600 block of Fort Davis, and the 4000 block of Penn. Jimmy went to the crime briefing last night. I didn't get a chance to go, but the commander and the 3 captains in charge of 60 was there. And I suggest that you hold me, them, and the chief accountable for stuff that's not, crime-wise. They get paid a lot of money, and they need to be held accountable for police deployment, laws and things and stuff like that, because I live in Fairfax Village, so it affects me on duty and off duty, and I make these arguments in police meetings, in police management meetings, because most of them do not live in the city. They most go home to Calvin County and St. Mary's and all those other places. And they don't go home to southeast, northeast, northwest, southwest. So when you get an audience with the chief, ask them these questions. Let them tell you what's going on with this department. They get paid to do that. About the cameras, when you get the rebate up to $500, you sign a form stating that you let the police come and review that tape. And we don't have an officer uniform coming in. We have some computer geeks. I don't want to offend nobody, but we have a lot of computer geeks who go in there, just like you are, to download the stuff off the whatever your system is. So it's not a whole bunch of inconvenience for you. They will come to the back door if you want them to. I had that happen. They can come to the back door, whatever time you want to set up. That's part of the program. When you do the camera rebate program, we got to let us see what's going on. And they do capture a lot of good information, help us close cases. So, and it's still going on. So, if you don't have the camera, by all means, just get one and get the rebate. Okay. Any questions or comments or anything I said or anything I need to be made aware of that I haven't announced this last month's meeting? Transitioning from officer to citizen.
Yeah. For the stolen autos, how they get in the cars? Are they?
Most of them are Chrysler and Plymouth products. They're easy to steal. Jeep. They're just, I don't know what Chrysler's doing, what the other automakers are doing, and Chrysler's not doing, but they seem to be the most easiest cars to get stolen for some reason. I have no idea why, but maybe Chrysler need to, uptick their technology to make it difficult. But still, with those are the ones. They use in other crimes. Okay. Any other questions, comments, concerns?
So even with the rebate and people signing that clause, they can still refuse to allow?
I don't know what the penalty is for refusing. I don't think the city said they want their money back, but I don't know what the city wants to do with that. I don't think we go up here, honestly. This is the first I've heard of it, actually. Most of the people we come in contact with do let us get the videos. This is the first one I heard that somebody refused. So if you refuse and got the money, I suggest that the city get the money back through the taxes.
Yeah.
So everybody else's taxes is funding this program, so why somebody should not participate in it if they want the money up front. So that's just my personal. So, yeah. Anything else? Yes, ma'am.
abandoned cars that are like brought into our neighborhood. Do you know like how they're coming in, and is there any update on why people are bringing, abandoning cars into the neighborhood, and then why it takes so long to get them removed?
Well, DPW has an abandoned auto division, so the police department doesn't deal with it. When we get calls for abandoned autos, we have to call 311 just like everybody else, get the ticket number, and DPW come and do the illicit involvement crime. There's a lot of dark areas in this part of the thing, like cruising around at night, like on Highwood and everything else. That might be an attractive way of just dumping cars without seeing you. I doubt very seriously if they live in the area. They probably fall about another stolen auto, which sometimes happen. But yeah, DPW, I don't know what their timeline is, but we as the AC, NPD, we refer all of it to them because they have a whole staff just to get abandoned autos. And so you may want to give 311 a call and DDOT supervisor explain why it takes 3 or 4 months to get an abandoned auto. If it's stolen,
That's the law.
that's the law, yeah. If it's stolen, we can come and recover it.
The law is,
immediately.
if it's not stolen,
Right.
they cannot remove the vehicle from a public street if the tags are good, registration are good, and they're district tags. If they're out of state, it takes them only 30 days to remove them. If they're stolen, it only takes them 48 hours. Because they come, they take the VIN number and run it in a police database and confirm it, and then
We'll come and get it.
then the police come and get the stolen car. Their tow trucks come and get it. We have removed 8 from the 3300 block of Carpenter. And we found that the people who lived there were bringing the cars in and abandoning them. You can't, the block captain tried to ask them, why do you do that? Why are you bringing these cars and then leaving them? They have no answer. But the answer that block captain got by working diligently with DPW was one Saturday, they bought 5 tow trucks and towed them all out, period. So you just gotta be ugly sometimes, is what I'm saying. Y'all stop being nice because, they look like nice people and they got good take the cars out of the neighborhood, 311.
Yes, ma'am.
I had to call from 33rd place. I came in from work and there was a car that had the junior light. I don't know what kind it was, but it was a white car. I called 311 on that Thursday, Tuesday, I came home to call the store.
Right, then when DDOT, they work doing the overnight hours as well. They have tab readers like we have. They come across the stolen auto, they immediately call us, and we come there with fingerprints, and sometimes you find guns and drugs, and occasionally you might find a body in the trunk. It's not being funny, but in my 30 years it has happened. So that's why they don't touch it if it's stolen. And then once it's been processed, we'll take it and notify the owner that their car's been recovered, or the insurance company, whoever. It's more than 30 days because the insurance company normally pays off the vehicle at that time. Anything else? No? All righty, well, thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Jameson. Okay, so now I will have our guest speakers come up and speak. I'm so excited to have them here today. We have 2 speakers from Bard Early School here to talk about the school and what the school offers and how to engage the community. So Vanessa and Clara, please come up. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for having us. My name is Clara, and I'm the Associate Vice President of Bard's Early College Network, which we'll talk to you a little bit about tonight.
And my name is Vanessa. I'm Vanessa Anderson. I will be the principal of Bard High School Early College, Washington, D.C.
Great. So just a quick show of hands, how many of you are all familiar with Bard High School Early College, DC, which we'll just call Bard, DC? Awesome, okay. So this may be repetition for some of you. We'll give a really quick overview of the school and then just let you know some upcoming events and ways to get involved if you're interested or if you have children or young friends who might be interested in attending. So really quickly, Bard College is a nonprofit college. We are a New York-based institution founded in 1860. What's unique about BART is that it has a really strong public interest mission, and most of its work now is actually dedicated to providing free college experiences of the highest quality in the liberal arts and sciences to populations that don't have the means or the access to go to BART College. So we actually serve more students in early college than on the main campus in Annandale, New York. And the basic premise behind early college is that a lot of high school students are under-challenged. They're bored, they're not asked to do what they're capable of, and therefore we see a lot of talented young people go to college and not finishing. Oftentimes they're actually having to take high school all over again in the form of remedial classes, and it's really not their fault, and it is really quite bad for everyone involved. So our theory of change is that we actually bring the college to the high school students, let them try college when it's free, when they're around supportive faculty and staff who know them, with wraparound supports. And we found in our 17 years of doing this, now in 5 states, our flagship campuses are in New York City, but we've grown, we're in Newark, New Jersey, Cleveland, Ohio, Baltimore, Maryland, and New Orleans. We found this really works. So just to give you a sense, last year, 97% of our students earned over 1 year of transferable college credit, as well as a high school diploma, and 83% earned a full associate's degree. So these campuses are dual degree. Vanessa will talk about what it looks like on the ground, but they are both accredited branch campuses of Bard College and public high schools in one. So we are both a DCPS school and a Bard College campus. And we do award a free associate's degree, which is transferable to four-year colleges across the country, as well as a DC high school diploma. So we'll talk to you more about the school on the ground, but I'll let Vanessa talk about our model and how we actually do this.
Where's the school located?
The school is going to be in the Davis Elementary School for the first year, and that's going to be a temporary location for a year while we work with DCPS with finding a permanent location.
And we're definitely going to be east of the river, so would love suggestions.
The address?
Oh, 4430 H Street.
Can you repeat that, please?
Yep, 4430 H Street.
Southeast.
Oh, southeast.
That's southeast.
Southeast, forgive me.
H is in Harry.
H is in Harry.
It's where
it's
Kimball
open.
is right now. It's a swing space.
Oh.
It was the Adelaide Davis School.
So as Clara mentioned, our early college high school is both a high school and a college. So for the first 2 years of the high school, of the experience rather, the students are focused on both earning their as many of their high school credits as possible and meeting as many of the DCPS high school requirements as possible to free up those last 2 years to really focus on being college students and earning the associate and liberal arts degree from Bard. And so we do this both through our hiring practices. So we hire university credentialed teachers, so people who could be college professors at GW, at American, at Harvard. In fact, many of the people who we are interviewing right now for faculty positions are teaching in such places, but are really really excited about working with a younger population and really like getting this early college off the ground. So our people have terminal degrees, largely PhDs, and are so really passionate about their disciplines, are active scholars, who also really want to work with young people and get young people really interested in Spanish literature or biology or psychology. Our model basically assumes that the students we get, the students who want to come to us, are really motivated and really ambitious, and we look for these traits through our admissions process, which consists of an interview and a writing sample where we ask students to read a passage and then to reflect on it. And so what we're looking for is basically students who are really interested in kind of thinking outside of the box and really sort of delving into texts and engaging in seminar-type discussions, which all of our class sizes are capped at 20, and all of our classes are discussion-based and really writing intensive. We believe that writing is the way to sort of elicit higher level thinking and the best way to learn. So all of our students and all of our faculty are trained in Bard has an institute called the Institute for Writing and Thinking, which trains people in techniques to really elicit writing and higher level kind of thinking and discussion. And everyone sort of takes part in that. We also have very robust student support services to help students to get through both the rigor of high school and the really, really, really intense rigor of the college program. So we start out with a summer bridge program to transition students into the early college culture, and along the way, they will have access to their professors outside of classroom hours, along with tutoring in all of across the disciplines in our learning commons, advisories, which are faculty-led, but which really focus on social and emotional learning skills and sorts of study skills that get you through college, so the study skills and self-advocacy skills. And then toward the end, by what is traditionally known as the junior year, but for us is called year one because it's your first year of college, our college transfer office begins to really work with students on identifying sort of best fit colleges for them to transfer that 2-year degree to, so these 4-year colleges. And we have places we've sent students from throughout the network have included Columbia, a lot of the sort of flagship state universities, so the State University of New York, Rutgers in New Jersey, Ohio State in Ohio, and here more locally, students have attended American, GW, Howard, and we've also sent quite a few students to the Ivies.
Cool. So we're happy to open it up to questions. One thing I'll say is the partnership with DC Public Schools has been in the works for over a year for sure. So we are very much a DCPS school. This is a new partnership. We're very much excited about early college expanding and really sharing the resources and the lessons learned with other high schools in the district, hopefully getting more colleges involved. So we really see this as the future, starting students on free post-secondary pathways in high school. My little brother went to our Manhattan campus and it was transformative for him. As Vanessa said, we're really looking for sort of a spark and motivation. A lot of our students, we don't know what their grades are because we don't ask. We don't look at standardized testing. We're really looking at these sort of qualitative benchmarks to get a sense of whether, they would like BARD and whether it would be a good fit. But we get some really exciting students. And as you all know, the My School DC lottery has closed for the first round. But if you know students who are interested in BARD but maybe didn't know about us, we're actually going to be doing an admission session in April at the Francis Gregory Library, so just nearby, from 2 to 5, and I can send info out, where we're accepting students who want to start college. So those are current 10th grade students who may want sort of a new challenge. We're going to have a small cohort of those students, and then any 9th graders who maybe didn't get their first choice school and want to look at another option. We will be running a wait list, so we were excited to see really strong demand, but as things, students move and choices change and all that, we're going to be recruiting through the summer. So yeah, feel free to send them our way. You can come too if you want, but we're really excited to be in DC. I'm a district resident and I'm really passionate about the district, and as is Vanessa, and so we're super psyched. But happy to answer any questions that you all have.
So this is not considered a charter school?
No, it is a DCPS school.
This is a DCPS, excellent. And you think you'll be ready September?
Oh, you'll be ready. You'll be ready.
What is your target enrollment for the 4 years? It's 9th through 12th?
It'll be 500 at full enrollment, but we're starting with a 9th grade of about 125 students, and then a small college transfer class, so 11th grade of about 40 or so. So we'll
your
scale
first year you'll have 9th graders and 11th graders?
And we'll run a similar admissions process next year to then, in our 3rd year, have a full 9th through 12th grade.
And the cool thing about that is you have the college students taking classes from the beginning, and in 2 years you have an associate's degree ceremony, so the younger students really have those role models, and it gives 11th graders the option to try this out.
Question. So is the idea that there would be an accelerated high school in grades 9 and 10, and then 11, the kids would start full college level courses, as opposed to taking college level courses to augment the high school courses at 11 and 12?
So yes and no. So there is an element of acceleration for 9th and 10th grade. However, the college courses taken in 11th and 12th grade are considered dual enrollment, so they're both fulfilling some of the requirements at the same time, but at the same time, they are college courses. So they're just being, the course requirements are being fulfilled with college courses.
And the really cool thing about the model is that as a student, you're working with college professors from day one. So, you know, your literature professor, you're going to see them for a high school course in 9th grade and then again for a college course in 11th grade. So the faculty know what they have to do in 2 years to get you ready, and frankly, students are becoming good college students while they're in college too. So it's, you know, it's not like they're done after the 10th grade. But, you know, the students really develop strong relationships with faculty, and that carries through the 4-year program, and that's what our alumni say is really the most important in a lot of ways. April 20th, 2 to 5 p.m. at Francis Gregory.
Did you speak on extracurricular if the student wanted, you have already spoke on if the student wants to play sports or do other things at the high school of choice or something?
So across the early college network, our extracurricular activities tend to be very student-driven. And so we don't know exactly what our extracurriculars will be yet because we don't have our class yet. However, in the first few years, we don't anticipate having enough students to launch sports teams, but we will be working with to partner with other high schools until we are able to have teams, athletic teams of our own based on student interest.
Yeah, and per DCPS's rules, if a student wants to play football, we'll probably never have a football team. We never have at our campuses. Although we have Quidditch in Baltimore, you can play for another team. So that's totally fine. And yeah, to Vanessa's point, I mean, popular clubs, like we have sort of low budget team sports, club sports, and then things like debate team or film club. It really depends on what the students want. Social justice club, student government.
And when will the students be notified if they are accepted?
Match day is the 29th.
And which day? What month? This
So March 29th. So by the end of the month, we should have an initial sense of who's coming and what our class will look like.
And the placements are ultimately made through My School DC, so we'll see what the algorithm does. But we will be recruiting on an ongoing basis, so if you know people, certainly send them our way.
Did you design this model yourself, or did you see it in another state?
So this model has existed since 2001 in our first Bard High School Early College campus in New York City, in Manhattan. And so subsequent schools have basically been built on this model.
And how successful was the one in New York City?
It is so successful that it is currently now one of the most sought after high schools in the city. And I believe a few years ago the New York Times ran an article that basically stated it was harder to get into BCC Queens rather, our campus in Queens, which is another borough in New York City, than it was to get into Harvard.
Don't worry, we're not there.
Right, we're not there. We're not there yet. We're not there yet, and we are very much committed to serving as many students. We actually have a very strong equity mission. So our goal is not necessarily to become Harvard, but that the model is so successful that it ultimately, basically in all of the cities that we've opened in, has become a very sought after option.
And did I understand you to say that all of the teachers are college professors, or did I misunderstand that?
Yes, so the vast majority of our teachers have a terminal degree, so mostly the PhD. We have some masters in fine arts. At a couple of our campuses, we've hired JDs as well. So they are all able to and have had careers teaching in college.
And I will say, we get asked a lot, people will say, oh, the worst teacher I ever had was a college professor. So we don't just throw people in, we screen really, really carefully. The interview process includes a sample class for 14-year-olds. We do a lot of training, so we're finding people, oftentimes they've worked with high school age students, they've either taught in the public school system or they've tutored. So we really look for people who have that blend. They love the subject, but they also can work with the age group. And to Vanessa's point, I think for those of you who've gone to college or have children who are looking at it or relatives, it's so expensive, so I think an early college model is a really attractive one. And DCPS is doing a lot with dual enrollment, so we're really excited to sort of join the conversation and help be part of expanding opportunities, not just through BARD. So we're really excited about that conversation as well. And I think part of it, DCPS, as you may know, School Without Walls has a small early college program with GW, and then Coolidge is getting a new early college. So part of the thinking was put an early college option east of the river, as well as the first sort of selective high school. Although again, we have a much more inclusive process than some of the others.
I have another question. Could you have just incorporated your program in a regular public school as opposed to starting a new school? Could you have done that?
So our model is a new school. I think that we're being very careful not to cannibalize a feeder pattern from any existing high school. So we've been doing a targeted recruitment across the city to public and charter. So we're drawing pretty evenly. Our Ward 7 applicants were tied with Ward 8 and about in the high 20s. We had a strong Ward 5 showing, and then slightly smaller 4 and 6. So we were really careful to not, make sure that the local schools weren't impacted negatively. But our model is a full school so that we can award the full degree.
So with the relationship that you have with the local colleges thus far,
You gotta be loud, baby.
with the local colleges that they have a relationship with thus far, how many of the credits have they typically accepted for the kids leaving your school?
So George Washington takes all of our credits. I believe Howard has as well, and American has been pretty good about taking credits. What we're going to be doing now is actually going to the colleges and working to establish formal agreements so that families know. Generally speaking, public colleges are great about taking the credits. And so we'll also be talking to UDC, but those conversations are going to happen soon.
So are you considered nationally accredited?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
we're accredited by the Middle States Commission on Higher Education, and also locally by the DC Higher Education Licensure Commission.
And upon graduation, do they get a diploma from the high school, or what is the diploma, how is it identified?
So students will get 2 diplomas. They'll get their DC diploma from OSSI, and they'll also get a Bard College diploma. So a Bard College associate degree in liberal arts.
Say for example, the ACT and SAT, they don't do well with the college part. Will they still have how you go directly from high school to college, pending SAT scores, ACT scores, or whatever, and some written stuff. So how does that factor in if they don't success in the BARD part, but they do for high school regular graduation? Do you ensure that the SATs are done, the ACTs, whatever most colleges require?
So the college transfer advisory that students will take part in once they enter the college program will ensure that students have done all of the testing that they need to, completed the applications, completed the FAFSA, everything necessary to apply to a transfer college, regardless of whether or not they actually earn the associate degree. So some of as Clara mentioned, while not everyone, only 83% of our students have earned the degree, 97% have earned at least 1 year of college, and that very small percentage will have earned fewer than, less than 1 full year of college credits, but everyone gets the same supports, and will get the same sort of support in terms of transferring out or whatever sort of post-secondary choices they plan to make.
Yeah, and you can take, every student gets a BARD transcript, so if you say you fail college algebra, it's okay, you can take it again. So that's the nice thing about a free early college, and so you'll walk away with a transcript with the number of credits you earn, and you can take that to your next college, regardless of whether you have the degree.
What about honors? Do they still get honors? Say that they graduate cum laude or whatever, do they still get those honors in the high school, from the high school?
I think we're still figuring, for the high school diploma you mean?
Yeah.
I think we're still figuring out what that will look like. The college itself, we don't do for the associates, we don't do the cum laude, magna cum laude, but we can get back to you on that for the high school diploma.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
That is really an admirable thing that you're doing. I wish something was like that available when I was in school. Might have saved me and my parents some money. So that's excellent to hear. And I encourage all of you, if you know any potential high school students or anyone in our community that will be in high school soon or shortly, send them their way. I mean, that will really help them a lot, especially if they need to figure out if they even want to go to school. And a lot of times, I know most colleges, if you even have an associate, that's almost a ticket in. So that's good to go. Good for you guys. So thank you so much for coming and engaging with our community. I really appreciate it. Next, we will have come up our forest bathing team. They actually have a presentation to give, and I'm not sure who's going to come up and speak.
Getting it going, yeah. I'm going to open them up. I'm going to make sure this loads.
Okay.
Technology does what it's supposed to do
Yes.
when we want it to do it.
And do you need us to dim the lights, or?
It looked pretty bright before. We got the loading sign going.
Okay.
Just thinking.
Laura, did you want to come up and introduce?
Yep. My name's Laura Bassett. Hi, everyone. I'm the Director of Education.
I'm actually not going to say very much tonight. My name is Laura Bassett. I'm the Director of Education. I'm going to pass it off to our Community Education Coordinator. We're here with Casey Trees, and this is Gabrielle.
Yes. Hello, everyone. So loud. So I'm Gabrielle. I'm the Community Education Coordinator at Casey Trees. Casey Trees is a nonprofit that is dedicated to restoring, enhancing, and protecting the trees of Washington, D.C. And we do this in a number of ways. We have tree plantings all around the city. We have groups of volunteers that go out and collect data on how healthy our trees are. And then we also have our team of tree advocates who advocate for policies that protect the trees that we already have and encourage more tree plantings throughout the city. So thank you to the Penn Branch Civic Association. We're really glad to be back here with you guys. We've worked with this community in the past, and it's been a pleasure partnering on different events, like we've had tree plantings and removing weeds in Fort DuPont Park. We've also done those tree inventories and collecting data at Hillcrest Recreation Center. We've worked with the youth summer programs at Fort Davis Rec, and then just this past year, we had free adult education classes at Fort Stanton, and then we did some yoga in the park with seniors at Ridge Road. So in my position, I have the pleasure of going to many of these events and get to work with the community and really get everybody out there and enjoying all of the benefits of nature. And as we work with recreation centers both here and all around the district, and so last year we signed a formal agreement with DC Department of Parks and Recreation to provide free events all around the district and getting people out into the parks and green spaces in their neighborhood and engaging in what tree is in your backyard and what trees are in your neighborhood. So this past year, DC Department of Parks and Recreation has built a new walking trail through Pope Branch Park. And so for its inaugural spring, the leadership of Penn Branch Civic Association has invited us to host an event on Saturday, April 20th. And so that is open to you and your families to come out and relish in all of the wonderful benefits of Pope Branch Park. And for that event, we have invited Nicole Armstead Williams to host that walk through the area. Nicole is a licensed social worker, and she's extended her work into becoming a certified forest therapist. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to her to talk to you guys about what is a forest therapist and more about this event on Saturday, April 20th.
Hello, wonderful people. I'm well. I am well. I am also going to try to learn to multitask. I've got a microphone, I got a clicker, and I got some notes. Bear with me. I'm not the tallest person in the shed either. All right. Can everyone hear me? Yes. All right. How is everybody this evening? Yes, I'm loving that energy. Yes. I'm just thinking like it is in the wee hours of the evening and we are still going so strong. And sometimes it's just like that gentle reminder to just like woosah, like we're making it, like taking that breath, stretch if you need to stretch, shake it off if you need to shake it off. I have to do that a few times throughout the day. So again, my name is Nicole Armstead Williams, and by the day, I do wear the hat as a clinical social worker with a nonprofit health center in the city. But in this space, I'm not wearing like my clinical therapist hat, even though what we're going to be talking a little bit this evening about is forest bathing, or sometimes known as forest therapy. And so just by kind of raise of hand, when I say forest bathing or forest therapy, does anyone even have an idea, like, is this, yes? Anyone else just have an idea of like forest bathing, forest therapy?
Taking a walk in the park.
Yeah, yeah, yes. Yes, all of that, just being one with nature, going for a walk, but also just the invitation of slowing down, okay? So as I'm trying to figure out my lack of multitasking, okay? Just so that, you know, we can all have clarity, I just wanted to provide an overview of just some of the things that I'd like to share briefly with you this evening. One, as Gabrielle already just kind of spoke to, just recognizing the collaboration between KC Trees and the Association for Nature and Forest Therapy guys, which is also kind of what I'm a part of as well. Understanding some of the roots and just a brief history of Shinrin-yoku as it relates to forest bathing. And one of the most important things, like, what exactly is forest bathing? Like, what is that? What are the benefits? And also naming some of the awarenesses or some of the edges, some of the things that kind of make us ask some questions. And last, just keeping the space open for any dialogue, any questions about any part of this presentation. So what I just want to try to draw attention to, and I think about like the seeds of collaboration, is this idea that enhancing trees, so like the idea of restoring, enhancing, protecting the tree canopy of the district, equals enhancement of people and just enhancing the quality of life of people. And so the idea of merging trees and merging people with trees actually is rooted in a Japanese term called Shinrin-yoku. So in a nutshell, Shinrin-yoku is a Japanese term that literally means to take in the forest. It dates back to the 1980s when Japan was experiencing like a work stress crisis where folks were just checking in, working long extended hours, and being consistently exhausted at the end of the day. Sounds familiar?
Yes.
Yes? How many of us are working 10-hour days? Sometimes longer, sometimes getting the overtime, but sometimes not. I'm very much in that boat as well. And what researchers and healthcare providers in Japan realized is it was really taking a toll on the citizens. It was really impacting their medical care, their mental health. It was really showing up in different ways. And so the researchers and the medical, or I should just say kind of the healthcare system, kind of proposed this question of what would happen if we literally kind of extend an invitation for people to come out of those offices, out of those small cubicles, away from the fluorescent lights and the computer screen and the phones, and just go into the forest. To just walk slowly, to just breathe, to just open up your senses and just experience the forest. The idea was it could really create like a natural healing as medicine. So the idea that just spending time in the forest is medicine. Like, yep, we got our Tylenol and our ibuprofen, but taking in the forest is a natural medicine. And so as it relates to forest bathing today, in kind of by US standards, forest bathing is sometimes also referred to as forest therapy. But I also just really want to be clear that in this context, I'm not talking about the therapy of like sitting or laying on a couch reflecting on your childhood experiences. I'm using the term therapy as just any form of treatment to enhance your health and your overall quality of life, okay? But forest bathing is intended to support the wellness and health of individuals, groups, communities through guided experiences in natural spaces. So for example, upcoming Pope Branch Trail, okay? This happens with a forest therapy guide, such as myself, to facilitate safe, gentle walks, to provide invitations to open the senses, and to open further connection and relationship with the natural world. And forest bathing walks end with a whole group gathering space for sharing tea, organic snacks, reflection, and even reciprocity. And with that, there are benefits. And the benefits that I've listed here are research-based, evidence-based benefits, literally just from spending time in the forest. And the really cool thing is you can say, oh, I hate this, like, ugh, I don't want to do it. But the reality is, even if you hate it, like even if you don't like it, you still get all these benefits. So it's still like a win-win situation. And some of these benefits include like reduced blood pressure, just kind of slowing down that heart rate, reduced stress. So for example, like when stress shows up for you, like where do you feel that stress? Like I know for myself, I get headaches, I feel it like in my chest, I feel it in my shoulders, I feel it in my stomach. It does take a toll on me. Some of the other benefits are like improved mood, so like managing things like anxiety or depression or worry, just everyday stress. Also like increasing energy level and even accelerated recovery from surgery or any other illness. So I always just want to emphasize the strengths that like these benefits truly do exist just from spending time in the forest. But I also just want to, there we go. I also just want to briefly acknowledge some additional awarenesses and some things that might feel edgy for people, because it's one thing to say, all right, Nicole, I hear what you're saying. These are benefits, but what else do I need to be aware of? What else do I need to be mindful of? So I just want to be able to list a few. So like underneath the umbrella of awarenesses, I think the first thing is to recognize that forest bathing is something that does completely happen outdoors. And traditionally, it's kind of a rain, sun, snow type of thing, unless the weather is presenting itself in a way that could be dangerous, like flooding or heavy snow or lightning, okay? So it's important to dress comfortably for the weather. I run cold all the time. I'm from Georgia, so anything under 60 degrees, I'm like, I'm freezing. I need my coat. So just being mindful of the weather and dress comfortably. Comfortable shoes, just comfortable gear. And oftentimes, a forest bathing walk can range on average between 2 to 3 hours. So just being mindful of that time frame as well. Most of the selected locations, even though we would be outside, most locations still have access to a bathroom if necessary. So you might not have to, worry about where am I going to go to the bathroom if I need to. Another awareness is just recognizing, like, yes, we are talking about natural spaces, but we're talking about that still in the context of an urban environment, right? So you might see wildlife like deer or even turkeys, which are here, or natural plants like poison ivy, or our friends like mosquitoes or ticks when the humidity kicks up. You might see people that are still walking or walking their dogs or riding their bikes, and city noise, airplanes, sometimes traffic, things of that nature. But your walk is always going to be guided with your safety as a key priority. So for example, I'm in the process of getting my certification as a wilderness first responder, so that if someone experiences a medical emergency, I can try to manage and support you safely until additional care arrives. But I would kind of err on the caution that if you have allergies that require an EpiPen, or if you are asthmatic and you require an inhaler, or even if you live with diabetes and you need your insulin, please bring that with you. Like, I will have first aid, I will have hand sanitizer or special soap if you touch something that makes you itch. But when it comes to like those critical needs, like your EpiPen, insulin, and inhaler, please bring what you need. Any medications that you need, please bring that with you. And with that being said, just a few of the edges. And when I say edges, kind of things that make people like, I don't know about this. When we talk about nature, what might you think could be an edge? What would make you kind of edgy about this? Like, I don't know, should I not? What might feel like an edge for you? Spider webs, yes. I don't like spiders either.
Poison ivy.
Yes, and that's valid.
And poison oak.
Very valid, very valid. So I'm hearing like poison ivy, poison oak, accidentally walking into a spider web, and all of those are valid concerns. To speak to the point around poison ivy or even poison oak, as a guide, I will always point that out. I will always point out what it looks like, where it would be located, because your safety is priority for me, okay? And you're not going to be able to enjoy yourself if you don't feel safe, just at a baseline level, okay? But for some folks, just the edge of like slowing down is like, I don't know about this, because when you slow down, you're also slowing down your thoughts. You know, you're slowing down kind of other things. Interacting with others. I mean, oftentimes, how many of us live our days like this? We don't even see each other. We're not even looking at each other. And so that face-to-face, like, oh, like, you want me to like connect with you? Like, sometimes that also makes people feel edgy. Yes, being present. Or what you were speaking of like, I don't like spider webs. Sometimes people are like, I'm not outdoorsy, I don't go hiking, I don't go camping, and that's okay. We're going for gentle walks. We're not hiking Mount Kilimanjaro, you know, like it's okay. But oftentimes for people, the biggest edge is the idea of disconnecting from that phone. Just slowing down, and like you were speaking to, just being present in that moment. Putting your phone on vibrate or putting it on do not disturb is probably one of the most edgiest, like the scariest things for people, and that makes sense. And so with that being said, on a walk, I will just gently ask to, it's okay, I will just gently ask for phones to be on vibrate. I recognize some people have family and obligations and need to be available to their loved ones, and I don't want to disrupt that. But I also want to encourage you to be present in that moment as well. And so, I think I made it through. And so I just want to keep this space open if there are any questions, any thoughts, any concerns about anything I've shared with you this evening. Yes?
Have you decided on the route that you're taking?
That's a really good question. So we are working together to kind of do a scout of Pope Branch Trail on Monday. And it's important for me to know ahead what the trail is looking like, how, you know, what might be the challenges, like are there certain sections that might be rocky or gravelly, where is the poison ivy, where is the poison oak, I'm gonna look out for you with the spider webs. So that's important for me to spend some time just with the land in preparation for a forest bathing walk. Yes.
Would you say that forest bathing walks are family friendly? Like how young of a child could you bring on one of these?
That's a really good question. In my experience so far, and recognizing like I'm still fairly new at this, most of the walks that I have participated with have been for folks 18 and up. But what I will say is that there are certain guides who have facilitated like family walks. And I would want to encourage that.
I think as long as the adult feels comfortable supervising and just being present with their young person, with their child, that would be my only ask, because I have to keep eyes on everybody, and I wouldn't want to overlook or I wouldn't want to overlook a young person. I wouldn't want to overlook a child, but I think that's something to explore for sure. Yeah, and I think as the date gets closer, and especially as we've had some time with the land, I might better be able to answer that question, just to make sure that that there would not be any concerns that would maybe limit the experience for a child. Yes?
What about rain dates and walkability factors?
That's a good question, especially because anytime it rains, it floods here in DC. So that is definitely something for us to consider. Traditionally, walks are kind of rain shine, but if it feels like it could be an unsafe experience, meaning like the floods are so high that it could make someone slip and fall and hurt themselves. I don't want people to be in a space that could cause them harm. So that's something that we would certainly look at closer, especially once we've had some time to be with the land. Yeah, but that's a valid question.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yes?
Was anyone back there last week from Parks and Rec, walking through Pope Branch?
Yes,
Yeah.
Because I saw them.
there was.
And I was just wondering if they were removing any of the fallen trees and branches that are back there.
Nope.
Or
They seem to just be doing a measuring of the river, and they were measuring the river or what's the word for it?
Water quality testing? Were
Yeah, they were
testing
doing everything
water
like
quality?
that. But they were also going through the river and marking it and taping off how the distance is. So I don't know. No work was
nothing in
done.
reference to this.
Nothing in reference to this, no.
But I do have a few serious concerns though.
Sure.
Because, we have quite a bit of wildlife back there. And I saw a mountain lion back there on my property. And we've had coyotes. We have a whole list of wildlife back there. And I used to frequent the area all the time until I saw the mountain lion. And I'm almost scared to go in my backyard now. But I do think that, with all the wildlife we have back there, someone needs to really have something to make sure you're protected just in case any one of them appears. Because these are the animals that I've seen. A mountain lion, coyotes, deer, raccoons, opossums, groundhog, foxes, wild turkeys. I've seen 2 turtles and snakes.
Yeah, I've seen the same 2 turtles.
2 turtles.
And so I want to absolutely validate your concern, and that goes back to just understanding like the edges, right? Of like, we want to ensure that if you choose to participate in a forest bathing walk, that your safety remains priority. So for example, as a forest therapy guide, it's my responsibility to also share what those awarenesses are, even if those awarenesses include certain wildlife. And I also have to trust very much, and like I said, I'm from the South. I have spent a lot of time in Colorado. I've been in a lot of natural spaces, and I always have to trust that for the most part, wildlife really don't want to be close to us. Like they want to just kind of do their own thing safely. But what we will certainly be able to do is talk about those awarenesses and support folks to feel comfortable in those spaces, and recognizing also like there's power in numbers. So walking in a natural space by yourself might look very different than kind of the collective unit of being a part of a larger group.
But I want to validate that concern, and we'll definitely be looking into that when we are exploring the land.
I appreciate that, and I think it's important to use that, and, because, you know, I'm not saying it to scare anybody, but, you know, I'm able to see, and I would love to take the walk, but you never know. But someone should be prepared just in case something appears that you don't expect to see. What do you do? Run.
Well, not always, not always. But again, I think what I'm getting from this, and I think is really important for me to be mindful of, is that there's a valid edge around what that looks like when interacting with wildlife. And so that's something that I will certainly look closely into and find ways of trying my best to support people to feel safe in those natural spaces. But I appreciate your comments. Thank you.
So if you're interested in attending the Forest Bathing Walk on Saturday, April 20th, we have flyers on the table when you walk in. And you can sign up by going to our website, kctrees.org, and then /Hope Branch. It's very important that you do that, and you'll see there's also instructions for a code when you sign up, because this is an invite-only event. It is for your neighborhood, your friends and family, and so nobody can just log on and come to this event. You need to make sure that you use that Pope Branch code when you go onto the website or when you sign up on the event page, so that way you can come, and please share with your neighbors and friends and family, because this is for you guys to get out into the spaces in your community. Thank you. Yeah.
The maximum count.
We are looking for between 20 to 30 people. Yep. Yeah.
I know you said there's some health benefits like blood pressure and so forth. Now, is it necessary for people to have clearance from their doctor before they do these walks? You know, just because you saying that there's, you know, stress and anxiety and blood pressure. So.
I'll defer to you. Yeah. So I'm not a medical provider, so I can't speak through the lens of like giving medical advice. But what I will say is that the intention behind the forest bathing walk is to really slow things down. It is not intended to feel like a hike. It is not intended to elevate your heart rate. It's actually intended to do the opposite. I will say, though, that if you are experiencing any medical concerns that you want to consult with your medical provider about, I would certainly encourage that. But the idea is that this is intended to be really slow, not intended to be strenuous or exhausting. So yeah, I hope that answers to your question a little bit.
Well, thank you guys so much, and Nicole, I will be there. I need some forest bathing. So I'm excited. That's really great. I do think everybody is wired to their phone and too much social media, internet, and we just need to unplug and be present sometimes. So I can't wait. I will be there. And I have to think if I want to bring my little person there too. Because you might interrupt my forest bathing. Anyway, moving on, I'm now going to allow Ms. Joan McKenzie to come up and talk about our lavish, lovely summer yard sale. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Joan McKenzie, and I will be chairing the yard sale committee this year. We are moving forward with the yard sale. We did have a snafu with the tables. In the past, we have rented tables from the church, but this year they elected not to rent them to us. So we're looking at other options because we do feel that tables are necessary. Giving people the ability to rent tables are necessary to have a successful sale, but we are confident that we'll be able to resolve the table issue. So now I would like to hand out a sign-up sheet. because as you know, to have a successful yard sale, we need vendors, volunteers, and of course shoppers. So this sheet is just to gauge interest from persons, if you are interested in participating as a vendor, if you can help out as a volunteer, and then if you're interested in renting a table, or if you are willing to bring your own table. We have a two-tiered pricing schedule where it's $20 if you just rent the spot, and it would be $25 if you rent the spot with a table. So I'm going to pass out sign-up sheets now, and if you could just pass it down. Sign up if you're interested, and then I'll collect them at the the back of the room.
Yeah, right.
Jim, there you go, you mentioned the community table, and is that
Yes.
part of the volunteer?
Yeah, I'll mention that. Okay, so I guess let's start. Do you guys need pens? Yeah, I'll pass on with it.
Doing it? Yeah.
All right, so I mentioned volunteers, and some of the tasks that we need help with would be putting out flyers, distributing flyers to some key locations like the libraries, locations that have community boards that you can put the flyers up, and then also helping out. In the past, we've had a community table where we've allowed people to donate items day of the sale, because we just limit it to day of the sale because we don't have storage areas for storing stuff. But we have had volunteers staff with the community table, and anything that sells on that table, the proceeds go right to the Penn Branch Citizen Civic Association. In prior years, we have also had volunteers manning like a grill, cooking hot dogs, hamburgers. So it just depends on the level of participation and the level of people's ability to help out what we can offer. I have heard some people suggesting maybe we could have like a vendor of farmer's market type. Somebody might come in with produce and rent one of the tables from us and vend. So basically, the possibilities are many, and it's just limited to the creativity of the persons who help out on the committee. I'm best at organizing and organizing tables and volunteers and participants, but I'm not that great with the ideas. So I need other people who are really creative to come out and spice it up and give us some good ideas, and then volunteer to implement. So the sale date is the 22nd of June, and of course we can't control the weather, so we have a rain date, which is June 29th. The last two sales we've had bad weather, so I'm predicting this year, I'm hoping that we're going to have good weather. But it's a fun event. You get to meet your neighbors, and we've had people having good sales. People have really, even the last time we were on the church parking lot was 2015, and we had like a threatening rainstorm, and it was like really cool weather. I think it was in the 60s, and we had people who had great sales. So it really just depends. But what we do is we handle the advertising. We advertise in print media. Last year, we actually were successful in getting some radio PSAs. Thank you, Alberta, for that suggestion. And we also do the flyers. We have block captains distribute the flyers with the newsletter distributions and other ways of getting and we put up signs too at the key intersections like the day before. So it's a fun event, and with enough help, it won't be too much work on any one person. So keep the day in mind, June 22nd, and we start setting up at about 8. Sales start at about 10, they end at 3, and then we have an hour to just, everybody take your stuff, and then we clear out. And it's a pretty efficient event, and it's a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun the last few years we've done it. So hopefully people will participate and enjoy it as much as I do, and we'll have a successful sale. If there are any questions, Bill?
Thank you so much.
Thank you, gentlemen.
You are welcome.
Okay, next, we will go over our committee reports, and we will keep it real short. Jacqueline will come up and do website updates. Oh, I skipped Tawana. Tawana, can you do the treasurer report? I'm sorry, I skipped you.
Good evening. I did put a copy of the treasurer's report on the table. The beginning balance last month for the Penn branch fee was $2,342.32. Over the weekend, I received donation from Rappaport Realtor for the annual block party of $250. We received memberships, and some of the residents paid for 2 years, so that totals to $320. And then the deductions for the month, we had to pay for the update for the Penn Branch website, which we use GoDaddy email. We bought printed paper for those nice newsletters that you all received this past weekend. And then the association fee, I guess, to DCRA, we pay for that. So we have a new balance of $2,525.87. Okay. Good evening, everybody. My name is Jacqueline Cannon. I just wanted to highlight a couple of things in regards to the website. I would like to receive more information, more flyers and information to update the website with. I received a few things from Ms. Paul at our board meeting last week that I've yet to actually upload to the website, but it's coming. But she informed us, were you planning on talking about that tonight as well? Okay, well, I won't steal her thunder. I'll let her talk about the wonderful programs that I think would be worthwhile for everybody knowing about it or passing it along to other folks that might be interested. I'll also upload the information about the forest bathing activity that's coming up in April, the information about Bard College, and all the other pieces of information that we have available to you at the meetings. My goal is to update the website with that information on an ongoing basis so that if you don't get it while you're here or you don't take it with you, you can always go to the website and find that information available. If there's any specific announcements that any residents have, please, you can email me a soft copy of those announcements to go on the website even before the monthly meetings. We want to take advantage of all the different ways of communicating with the residents as possible, whether it's via the newsletters, the monthly meetings, other information that you have available. The website really should be the one-stop shop to go and find that information post general body meetings. So that's all I have. Any questions? Anybody? Do you have anything tonight that you want me to upload to the website as I make my updates? No? Okay. I'll turn it back over to Shannon.
Okay, Ms. Pauls, you're up next for Public Works Committee. We're skipping over Cal today.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to give real brief summaries on two major issues that are positive for the community. One of them is, and another that makes us work harder as a team, as a community. One is that the district government wants each and every one of you to go to DCHD's website and look at the two new programs that have been uplifted with huge funding to buy a property in the District of Columbia. If you are a district government employee, they will provide you $84,000 toward the down payment of any house, and the ceiling for the property has to be $350,000. You say, hey, the one I'm looking at is $405,000. It's okay for it to be $405,000. You've got to come to the table with the difference. So if it's $405,000 minus the $350,000 they allow, you get mama or papa or great aunt to give you the difference. You bring that difference check to the table. They provide credit checks for you. They help you to fix your credit, and they advise you of how to get a really good realtor who really knows the District of Columbia and the multiple properties in every ward that are within your range. If you work in the District of Columbia, we invite you Marylanders, Virginia, West Virginia, to come home through the other program called HPAC. So the first one is called EPAC. That's for employees. HPAC is for you folk who mistakenly chose to live in Virginia or Maryland. Talking to our guests, we want to encourage them to come home. We're encouraging you to take advantage of a $54,000 grant that they provide to you. And again, your ceiling is still the same. It's just that your grant is lower. This, hopefully, this program that Polly Donaldson, the director of DCHD, is trying to move forward on behalf of our mayor, is to encourage police, teachers, principals, police officers to come back home. So if you know people who are police officers, and I've sent this information to our commander, and we had a workshop here Monday here in this very church, and 11 of our officers came to sign up for the Home Again program. So I got a piece of my ring. So y'all grab another police officer, another counselor, social worker, and teacher, and say to them, we can find you something nice in a nice neighborhood. It's within your range. So that occurred Monday and was very exciting. We had over 35 people from Ward 7 to participate. The next one is the issue that's been on again, off again since 1986, and it's the O Street Wall. I am pleased to say tonight that we now do have legislative support for the O Street Wall. Working closely with Ms. Laura Richards and a couple of her experts, because I'm not a legal mind, we have formulated a detailed piece of legislation based on what Kwame Brown, the chair, had written in 1986 that allowed us to initially buy 4 of the 8 lots that are located at the foot of the wall. Our goal is to have the government to purchase all of the lots, and there are 5 remaining. In fact, 2 days ago, a lot went back on sale for $260,000 on O Street, right beside, for those of you who know Mr. Robinson, beside Mr. Robinson's property. We will be moving through them, looking at the legislation, and then we'll provide copies to the association and the board so that they can see. But we are running now. We do have our council members' support now. I got an email from them today before I came to the meeting. We are going to march strong. We will be proffering people fair market value, not $260,000. Those lots are only worth $75,000 max, period. So that work will continue. I will continue working with the legislative committee. I will be sending information to the impacted properties so that they are aware of it. I will be asking each person who's impacted to send letters of support directly to the full council. The last one, can I finish the last one and then I'll take questions? Okay, I'm on my last little report. Each of you should have received, as you know, we try 4 times a year to keep our gateway clean and beautiful. So we have planned this year for Saturday, April the 6th, to clean the Gateway Park. I want to emphasize for those who live in blocks where we have kids 12 to 24, those kids still have to get community service credits. We have been certified 100 years ago to be able to issue them. So if you have youngsters in your block and you don't like gardening, you come and bring them 2 teenagers to help us clean the block, and we will provide them with a certificate of attendance. We are going to be there from 9 to 12. We have a backup day. The backup rain day is the 13th of April, both are Saturdays. So I expect to see everybody that's in the room right now, plus another 50 people from Penn Branch. Thank you. Now I'll take questions.
Yeah, I had a question. So how, with this legislation, will it stop? Because I noticed that, you've had people dig properties unauthorized, you've had signs pop up and go away. So will this eliminate that problem once and for all if passed?
Yes, it will, because what will happen is you will then see small signs at the foot of the hill in front of what is every lot that says no trespassing DC government property. And there'll be a phone number for it. If I saw it, I could call and they would come out. Because right now the biggest problem we have, other than keep fighting people trying to build, is young people coming from wherever and putting graffiti on the wall. So we've already scheduled for DPW to clean the graffiti that's currently on the Old Street wall.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Paul. Okay, now I'll have, oh, I'm sorry.
There's also some interest on the part of PBCCA trees into creating conservation easements along there.
Yes,
So that's, another vehicle for solving the problem. I guess it's complementary to the legislation.
And we'll work with them. Ms. Robin?
Madam President, may I ask a question? Yeah, may I ask a question?
Yes.
Ms. Paul, around November, I won't call the gentleman's name, he actually purchased one of the lots and opened up a new permit process for that, for one of the lots. So what happened to that? Do you know, or can you speak to that?
Oh, absolutely. What she's talking about, someone bought 3214 was the address assigned to the property. It was property belonging to one of our neighbors, Mrs. Borkins.
Oh.
It was sold for $90,000. We went to the hearing and the ANC for the area went with us and Mr. Nash. And we did a really complex presentation and they voted 5-0 not to issue the permit.
You mentioned something about $70,000 for sale for a lot. Could you explain that again? I didn't understand.
There is no sale for the lot. I'm saying that the fair market value of those lots is not to exceed $75,000. It's unbuildable land.
Okay, next we will have Stan come up and talk about the block captain
All right.
and membership drive.
Hello, hello. I'll be my typical short self. Over my happy home stay. All right, yeah, for the Stan Benton, block captain, chairperson. Captain. All right, for the Penn Branch membership, excuse me. For the Penn Branch membership, we shoot for 100% of the families in Penn Branch to be actually members of Penn Branch. But unfortunately, I think we're a little low at getting that number. So we come up with, well, it's March. We need members, so we come up with March Member Madness. So what does that mean? That means that if you're not a member, you might get a knock on your door or a phone call asking if you can be a member. What do we have here?
68.
We have,
68.
okay, out of the 500 houses we have, 500 houses we have in our Penn Branch Association here,
68.
we have 68 members. So, 68 members, yeah, so we can use roughly, what, 430? So we can use some more members, and Tawana here would be happy to take your money if you want to become a member today. Let's see, the last time I was up here I spoke about a house fire on Pope Street. It turns out that was a grease fire that wasn't handled properly, a grease fire that had water thrown onto it, I believe. So if you have a grease fire, please do not throw water on the grease fire. Yeah, put flour, put a lid on it, don't throw water on it. Let's see, for block captain coverage, if you don't know who your block captain is, I do have a list of all the block captains at the back of the room. You can grab that and find out who your captain is if you don't already know. And let's see, I could use a block captain for, let's see, 3500 block at Pope Street, please. And the 3500 block of Texas. Okay, that's all I have for you. Yeah, sorry it took so much time. Did I miss something?
On the card, they have annotated 1 year. So you might have some more data.
Just get another card.
Okay, so we actually have a data list,
All the individuals
yeah,
paid for.
everybody that's paid, giving us clarification if it's 1 or 2 years. So those that have paid for 2 years, we will give them a new card for next year. The purpose of us even reinventing the wheel of creating new membership cards and stuff like that was because generally what would happen, people wouldn't even keep up with membership dues or wouldn't even pay their dues as they should. So we figured once we started this new process where we're actually keeping an Excel spreadsheet, we're keeping the data of the address and actually who paid for that household, we're trying to narrow it down to actually be able to keep better track of who's actually paying their dues. And so far, it has worked tremendously.
It would be easier just to create a sticker on your card to say, for example, she paid for 2018, so it would expire in 2021. Can't you just design a sticker to stick on the card, since it's a permanent card, to indicate the number of years? Wouldn't that be easier for you?
We could consider it. We will discuss it at our next executive meeting. But we really wanted to reel it in because before, it was more difficult to track who was actually keeping up with their dues versus those who were. And we want to make it fair to everybody who's, signing up to be a member and actually paying their dues as they should. So, but we will definitely discuss that going forward. Thank you. Did you have anything?
You can tell. Go ahead. I'll give it to you.
Okay, quickly, Laverne Thomas will come up and talk about our upcoming newsletter and outreach.
Briefly.
Okay, I'm going to be very brief. The only thing I wanted to mention is that we're actually looking for people to give us information for our newsletters. Anything happening in your block, in your family, something that you want to share with the community. Birth of a child. And I'll give you the email address. If everybody wants to take this information down,
It's in the newsletter too.
yes, in the newsletter, I don't have it. Just in case.
Give her her glasses.
I see. Okay,
She can see me.
AGE. Okay. It's Elson 13 at Gmail. Elson, ELSON, the number 13 at gmail.com. And send us some information that we can actually add to our monthly newsletter. Births, graduations,
birthdays,
celebrations, anniversaries, whatever.
What's the submission deadline? When would you need it by?
Well, my drop dead date for actually what I would like to see, disseminate the letters 2 weeks prior to our general body meeting. So that's for getting it to your house, getting it disseminated. So if I can have it at least a week prior to that.
So 3 weeks before?
Yes, at least 3 weeks before. That gives us, enough time to actually type it, edit it, get it printed, and then get it back to Stan.
So by the 30th of every month?
Yes.
By the 30th?
Yes.
If you're not receiving any emails or
I'm sorry.
emails, I'm not receiving anything yet from the association. What can we,
You start her name on this.
I'll get your name.
Tell me.
Oh, I'm sorry, I got a correction. It's Elson B13 at gmail.com. He is in boy. Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, we need some signs put up for the dog walkers, to put up behind their dogs. We need signs up.
Signs up on which streets?
Well, I know we need it on Carpenter. Okay.
And Highwood.
You can call, you can go online and fill out the application, and DDOE will put up the signs. They own those signs that says poop, poop, and scoop. So you have to go online. No. DDOE, DC Department of the Environment, because that's an environmental waste habit. Therefore,
I don't know how to go on.
okay, call
We'll
311.
We'll take care of it.
We'll take care of it.
After the meeting.
Don't worry, we'll take care of that for you. Carpenter and Howard. Does anybody else have any announcements before we close out the meeting? Tawana, quickly. Okay.
Okay, Rosemary Crockett, 35th Street. I am a member of the local Tuskegee Airmen chapter, and we are now in our scholarship period for the upcoming year. So we have scholarships available each year, $1,000 scholarships for graduating seniors from the greater Washington metropolitan area. Now, about the last 5 to 6 years, all of the scholarships have gone to students in Maryland and Virginia, because they are applying, they're good students, and they are getting these scholarships. So I don't know what's wrong with the District of Columbia, but I encourage you, we gave out 11 scholarships last year. I have applications with me tonight. You have to be a graduating senior from the greater Washington metropolitan area with a B average, community service. You have to write a couple of essays, one personal essay and one essay about the Tuskegee Airmen. And you have to send in a copy of your parents' tax return, a few other things. But I have the applications with me tonight. You may have one. And if you give a student an application, please follow up. To tell a personal story, I gave one to my cousin. He never sent it in. So stay on top of these kids once you give them the scholarship, because they get it the first year. We will renew it every year as long as you're in undergraduate school, as long as your grades stay up. So once you start, you can go right on. Now, we do prefer to have kids who are interested in aviation, but we have veterinarians, nurses, artistic kids, anybody. Be average. We're looking for kids who want to be successful in life. So see me this evening.
Oh, Jimmy, you had a question?
Oh, no, I think the other thing, I don't know if everybody knows why Rosemary, because I saw her on the news this week. Last weekend, you were on the news with Vincent Gray. Yeah. They don't, make sure they know who she is.
Oh, okay.
Did you want to talk?
And watch them making the announcement.
No, last Tuesday, I was down at the DC Council. The local chapter, the local Tuskegee Airmen chapter, has been working for some time now to get the 4th Thursday in March of this year and each succeeding year declared Tuskegee Airmen Commemoration Day, so that schools, churches, civic organizations will have a reason to bring forth the history of the Tuskegee Airmen and to be able to encourage kids to excel just like the Tuskegee Airmen did. So I was down at the DC Council on Tuesday with some of our original Tuskegee Airmen and other members of the local chapter, and Ward 5 councilperson Kenyon McDuffie sponsored the resolution, and we had photographs taken, and the guys had a really great time.
Was it approved?
It was approved.
Oh, yes. I'm Rosemary Crockett. My father is an original Tuskegee Airman. He now resides in Arlington National Cemetery.
I just wanted to put out a save the date for the Penn Branch Annual Block Party once again, which will be the second, Community Day. I'm going to change the name. Community Day, which will be the 10th of August, 2019 this year, and the rain date will be the 17th of August. I'm going to start working on this like 6 months earlier so that we can lock down a lot of the vendors that will give our resource or information. Again, this is a community day where we're not out trying to sell anything or make any money. It's really for advertisement and for community awareness. I did make a few phone calls and I got some feedback from George Washington University. So this year they're going to bring their health mobile, which will include the Kidney Foundation van. Will be taking testing for kidney failure, renal failure. The other one she has is the breast cancer minivan. So that's just a start. So I'm going down the list to see if I can get some of the same vendors. I know the kids are very excited about the fire department, moon bounce, the ice cream truck. We'll try that at a reduced cost this year because we have to raise money. And what I bought tonight was a t-shirt. Tony, if you can hold that up. We're selling the t-shirts so you all can be prepared to come out, show out the Penn Branch community. So those are like $20 a piece. So the next meeting or either on the website, we'll do a form so you can start to purchase them.
Do you have any here tonight? Tomorrow we have 2 people inquiring for one t-shirt.
Oh, okay. So I have some. You can give them my email address, which is, I have some at home, but they can call me on my cell phone, 202-316-7706. And again, they're $20, and I'll do a form so that we can have on the table so we can buy them and everybody come out in their Penn Branch t-shirts this August.
Repeat the number, Tawana.
202-316-7706. And also, we're going to be looking for volunteers. Kathleen, I know you sent me an email to volunteer this year, but I guess around May I'll do an announcement for volunteers. But right now, again, we're trying to get the vendors together. And if you all have someone that you want to participate this year, please do so. Email me.
No, just the ice cream, man. I stayed in his truck.
Is that all for announcements? Do we have anything else? Anyone else?
No. Excellent meeting.
Okay. Okay, meeting adjourned. Thank you.